Hey guys, I'm Chris S. Preston Esquire,
And I'm Sean Theodore Logan,
and we are.
talking through the movies.
All right, all
All
right.
right, all right.
Good intro. Hey, if you haven't figured it out, we are excited because we are going to run down the top 10 music group movies or music. Well, we still haven't kind of figured out the name, but movies that are starring like made
Musically
up
thematic.
movies. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna work on that title for this episode, but it was a tough one to come up with, and but I'm glad we're ready to knock it out. Let's see. Before I get started, I was gonna mention that me and Sean talked about it. We're going into a new direction with this. With talking through the movies, and not only am I going to work on new backgrounds and or new logos and whatnot. I'm just kind of identity searching. But we looked at a couple of episodes and realized sometimes language got a little strong. So we're gonna do our part to tone it down and hopefully reach a broader audience. And that's all I want to say about that. So moving on, let's get down to it. What you got for? Let's start the list off, Sean. What you got, man?
All right. So let's see here. So let's get down. All
Do
right.
it.
All right. So the first
Come
one I
on.
got. Yeah. The first one I got is kind of one of those movies I'd never even heard of when I saw it for the first time. It's about I heard of the name of the musician it was based on, Joan Jett, but I really didn't know anything about her other than I just heard of her name, and she was a punk rock chick. And it's got a star in it that I'm not really the biggest fan of because all I know her from is like Twilight. But I took a shot and took a chance, Runaways, and actually it was pleasantly good. I was actually quite surprised. I actually made it through the whole movie and was like, I would actually probably watch that again. And there was a couple cameos from some people that you see in a ton of movies, but like Michael Shannon I think was their manager in this movie, and that Michael Shannon dude is awesome. I love every movie he did. Even he was even great in like Bad Boys 2 as the guy that got locked in the trunk of the car. But that's another discussion. So mine, The Runaways.
Hey, Sean, if you're watching Kristen Stewart and you're gonna hurl into this. But yeah, that movie was good though. I have to give it to him. That I liked it. I'm like you said, I'm not always the biggest fan in the world. She has a super huge following, so I'm definitely gonna hashtag her on this video to see how much fallback we're gonna get from semi. Well, this isn't really a diss. I mean, come on, guys. Movies are subjective. I mean, what you might love if you're a super hardcore Kristen Stewart fan. I mean, she might not be everybody's cup of tea, though. I think she looks great in American Ultra. But that movie was pretty good. I have to give it to her. That cherry bomb was pretty
Yeah,
badass.
yeah. I mean, I loved her in the sequel to Jumanji. The movie was kind of stupid, but she did get in that. It's not. I don't know if it's necessarily that I don't like her as an actor or person. I think it's more like just I hated the Twilight movies with such a passion that it's just bled over through the years that I have a hard time looking at her and not thinking Twilight. You know.
she was that chick in that thing that I hated. But yeah, I mean, I feel the same way. Sometimes watching those Twilight movies, you want to just rip your arm off so you have something to throw at the screen. But
Oh, we got
my
Michael Shannon in the back, yeah, in the background there, Chris.
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I got to yeah, I have to have a movie plan. We're talking through the movies. So my one I started off with was School of Rock. I That would be my Kickstarter. I watched that movie and I was entertained. I loved it. I know it has a huge following. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a cult classic. It was a financial success. The movie, I think it could have spawned a sequel. I don't know the history of it or why it didn't. One of Jack Black's biggest movies, but you have the cute kids in there. They were funny. They were all rocking out and doing their thing. So I consider them a band. So that's my movie. It was for families. It was entertaining. Jack Black in the middle of the peak of his
Yeah,
of his career.
I think that's the movie that got people actually looking at this guy for the first time. I
Made
mean,
him a household name.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's been in movies a lot, but they never gave him his due credit. As a matter of fact, I think that movie is the reason that he got a role in King Kong.
Yeah.
It was after which honestly, I really wanted to like King Kong, but
That
sorry
movie
guys.
was too long, man. Like the original King Kong. People say if you would have started that movie at the point where the boat was getting to the island, that would have been a good starter instead of learning all that back stuff and whatnot. Yeah, I mean it was just too much. But yeah, do you remember one of Jack Black's early movies? I don't know if this was his first. It probably wasn't, but I remember the first time I remember seeing Jack Black was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Well, one of those. I Know What You Did Last Summer. He had the long hair. He was smoking weed, and the killer was about to kill him. He's like, "It's all good, man. It's all good."
No, I don't have to look that up on YouTube. Check it out.
It was hilarious, but yeah, that's the movie I remember.
And of course, I guess he gets killed in this.
Oh yeah, he didn't make it.
Okay, definitely not. You're smoking weed in those movies, you're gonna die. That's the rule. You're having sex underage, smoking weed, you're gonna die.
Stay a virgin, stay clean, you live.
That's right. All right. So that School Rock was your number 10.
Yep, that was my starter.
All right. So the next movie I got, my number 9, weird movie. Maybe not. There's gonna be a lot of people who don't like this movie, but the soundtrack kicked ass. It had some really interesting illustrations, and it was just so weird. You almost couldn't not finish watching it. It was called Heavy Metal, and they spawned a sequel. I think it was called Heavy Metal 2000, and it was I remember it being very graphic. I remember it having a lot of adult themed stuff in it, and at the time I saw the original, I hadn't really seen a cartoon that was orientated towards adults. I mean, back then we didn't have YouTube and the internet like it is now, so it was just kind of like a. And I remember getting it at the video store, and the VHS tape was well used, and so yeah, and so we had to like use that. What is that, tracking?
That tracking, yeah.
The tracking on the VCR to get the picture to stay straight. So
yeah, I'm gonna hit the boobs or no.
You almost want to take the cassette out like a Nintendo, stick it back in the player. So that was my number 9, Heavy Metal.
All right, and after that I got what did I start it off with? I started off with School of Rock, and my number 9 would be Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, another Jack Black movie.
Yes.
Oh man, that movie was hilarious. A lot of good one-liners. My favorite part of the movie was going towards the end when they battled the devil and defeat the devil with the pick. That I think that that the whole premise of that movie was that you were a better guitar player or musician all around when you had this pick, and that I guess came from from the land down under, and they had to, I guess, fight the devil.
Land down under.
No offense to all you Aussies.
Yeah, Australians.
Australia is not hell. But yeah, that movie was hilarious. And you ever checked out the Pick of Destiny?
I love that movie, Chris. We all know, unfortunately, it was a box office bomb financially. I thought that movie was hilarious. And like, I'll never forget the scene where it was right after. Well, two things. First of all, the scene where Kyle they meet each other in the park, and kind of Kyle is doing like his fancy Beethoven and Bach and all this other stuff on his. And then you see kind of Jack Black kind of like start moving people to the side to see who this brilliant guitar player is, and people are just kind of like, and he's like, "What's your problem? Look at this guy. He's amazing," And instead of being flattered, Kyle's kind of annoyed that he's riding his jock, just like, give me some space, bro, back up, and then Jack can't contain himself and starts singing, ding, 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 ding. Yeah,
you know that this is really rock.
Yeah, rocking and
rolling, and freaking rocking. Oh man, yeah. Oh, God.
And at the end of that song, we get to hear Jack do his sounds. He's like, like he's not even.
He was all into it, like. That movie was awesome, man. Oh yeah.
What about the scene where after they get in a fight, and Jack is walking to the woods and he's hungry and he eats the mushrooms and he has the
Starts tripping out.
Yeah, and he thinks he's Sasquatch, and he goes like flying in the air, like riding Sasquatch's back, and he's like, "I want to be a Sasquatch too," and he's like, "But JB, you are a Sasquatch," and he looks down at his hands, and he's
Oh yeah, man.
so yeah. Pick a
That
Destiny.
movie is very underrated, man. If you haven't checked out Pick a Destiny, go check it out. It rivals some of the classic, rock and roll duo guys, comedy movies that I'm not going to mention because we're probably going to run them down. But it brought me back to the old school movies that are just like that. I expected to hate it. A lot of people did, but I expected to hate it. But I wound up being one of its biggest fans. It made me a stronger Tenacious D fan. So.
And this was your number 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So surprisingly
9, I
enough,
guess.
yeah, no,
We're on 8 now.
This was the one coming up for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip down my list because this was actually my next pick. And guys, me and Chris, when we do these lists, we don't tell each other what we're putting on our list. This is pretty much us just sitting there like during our 9-to-5 jobs, But we like so much of the same movies that it's almost guaranteed that our lists are going to be at least
we're gonna cross some of
the streams are gonna cross. Yeah. All right, so the next one I had, skipping the Pick of Destiny. This is probably, if you grew up in the 80s, you definitely saw this movie. And then they had a sequel in the early 90s. I like the sequel. A lot of people bash on it, but I rank it up just there with the original. We got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Bogus Journey.
Best of 7? Damn right.
That's right. For those of you who watched our intro into this episode and had no idea what we were doing, just acting like idiots, those were both references to Bill and Ted. They're doing their.
Which I heard that that they're working on a third.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I go see it.
Scrapped yet, but I heard that Keanu Reeves was convinced.
It's going to be a serious Bill and Ted movie. What's happened after because he's not a young pup anymore. I mean, he wasn't. Man.
If they don't make fun of the Matrix and all that kind of stuff, then kind of make fun of how the other guy kind of didn't do much with his career, it would be a waste.
I think his name was Alex Winters or something like that. I think he produces and writes and stuff, but he had that weird look to his face. And fortunately for Keanu Reeves, I mean, they both could do their thing. It's just that I think that Keanu Reeves was more marketable. I mean, he was a big, tall, dark, and handsome, and so they could put him in whatever kind of movies. And the other guy was kind of a short, weird-looking guy who could act. But again, Hollywood is very what's the word I'm looking for?
Superficial, I guess.
Yes, they're very superficial. So, that, unfortunately for you, Alex, I think that's what happened to you. I think you got blackballed.
He was in a movie called like Freak Show or something like that, where he was. I think
he was
Mr.
in Lost Boys.
Yeah, he was awesome in Lost Boys, and he was in the movie called Freak Show, where these circus freaks were they were mutated and deformed, so they become circus freaks. And Mr. T was in it. I think Cindy Crawford was in it.
God.
There was a lot of talent in that movie, and the movie was very funny, man. And I remember that the guy who I forgot his name, but who was the guy from Independence Day who said, "Hello, boys"?
Randy Quaid.
I wanted to say Randy Quaid, but I thought I was gonna. He's the main villain in this movie.
Oh my God!
He's the guy who owns the circus and the freaks and whatnot. And I remember they were trying to make their escape, or they were trying to find the cure for the mutations and whatnot. And they were trying to, and while Randy Quaid was asleep, and they were trying to sneak out. Mr. T made some kind of noise, and they had to scrap the whole thing because they almost got caught. Randy Quaid wakes up and he looks around, and they're hiding so they don't get caught. And then next thing you know, he looks down and he picks something off the ground, and it's a fallen paper cup, and and it's just like he balls it up. Bad for the ozone layer, or bad for the environment, and that's it. It was some stupid line I couldn't help but crack up laughing at. That's all I mean. It was a very bad, very dumb movie, but I loved it. If you want to see another good funny movie that starred Bill S. Preston Esquire, or his real name I already forgot. I'm sorry.
I think it's Alex Winters.
Alex Winters.
Alex Winter or Winters.
Look up Wikipedia, I guess. I don't know if it's called Freak
Yeah,
Show, but it's about circus freaks. It was pretty funny. Mr. T's in it. Check it out.
Mr. T. Did we get to hear the line from Mr. T?
No, I think Mr. T was the bearded lady or something like that.
What?
He had beard, he had a dress on, he boobs,
God.
and something happened when some monster came out, and Mr. T was like, watch out, look out for that thing! Oh my god! It was hilarious. You got to see Mr. T in a dress. Weird movie, man. like you're gonna hey, get ready, eat some brownies, and watch this movie.
Yeah.
All right, what we got next? Who was what do we got?
All right.
Wait, you just did
Bill and Ted.
You just did Bill and Ted. Mine is I did have it on the list. I'm actually I lied, Sean. At first I thought I didn't put this on the list. I do have it. Let's see. Wayne's World. It's one of the ones that I cheated on. They're not in a group. They're not a band, but it was so heavy music influenced and music based with Queen and everything and them singing all the time. I had to cheat and put this on the list.
The Bohemian Rhapsody song
that made me a Queen fan. That movie made me a Queen fan, and I'm convinced that if Wayne's World were to come out today, if Wayne and Garth really existed, they would be on YouTube like we're all right now. Instead of it being public access television, it would have been on YouTube and like party on, Wayne, party on. We're on Google. But yeah, that would so I didn't realize it. I cheated. I had Wayne's World on there. So yeah, Wayne's World 1, Wayne's World 2. Awesome movies, man. Great music throughout. And Cindy Crawford's now. Who's that? Who's the girl?
Heather, I think it's Heather Locklear.
Heather Locklear, man. Oh,
he's not like shawing, shawing.
He's like, take me, Garth. Where? He's after 10, or you need a jacket or something like that. He picks up Garth, and she picks up Garth and brings him into the room. He said, "Oh, you're so squiggly."
What was that scene where they're in the diner and all of a sudden, like, she looks at him and all of a sudden, like, it like hits him and he gets thrown off his chair. He's like,
he gets hit with the camera. The cameraman hits him. But that was too funny, man.
What was it? She makes me feel a little funny, like when we climb the pole in gym class. Like,
oh man, when we climb the rope in gym class. It's like people only do things because they get paid for it, and that's just sad, you know. I mean, that movie had too many good one-liners. But hey, what's your next one?
All right, so the next one I had we talked about was School of the Rock. Really good movie. Chris already, made very good out of the finer points of this movie. So I'm going to skip down to the next one. Let's see here. Where's my number 5? Oh, this was about it had Joaquin Phoenix in it. I was really impressed. I knew he was a good actor. I knew he was River Phoenix's brother and all that. And I liked him in Gladiator as the bad guy. He plays a really good bad guy. But I'd never really seen him take like a main role like this before in Walk the Line, where I think he played Johnny Cash. And apparently he did all the singing in that movie too, which I was really surprised to find out. Like, holy crap, he can actually sing too. I think I'm not sure. I'll have to Wikipedia it or not. I don't know if they won any awards for that movie, but if they didn't, they should have, because man, he just knocked that right out of the park. I mean, just right up there. And I think it was close to when Ray came out. The whole musician biopic thing was kind of in, and I know Ray got best picture of the year, didn't he? He got best actor.
Yeah, best actor. Yeah, Jamie Foxx beat out Leonardo DiCaprio. I forgot what movie, but it was one of those situations where you knew Leonardo DiCaprio was a lock to win, and of course he was beat out by a guy that just happened to give the performance of a lifetime and just edged him out.
Too late.
Yep. Maybe in 2015 or 16 there, Leo. Revenant. But that movie. You know what? I'm not even gonna. I was about to say that movie was good. I've never seen it.
Oh, I check it out. Watch it. It's worth it. It's like one of those movies that the movie. I think the movie takes place over a couple of decades. It's a long movie, so check it out. Walk the Line.
Reese Witherspoon was in that one too, right? And I'm sorry, guys. I
Yeah,
keep putting my glasses on and
yeah,
off. I
and
can't.
I think she did her own singing in that as well.
I think she was nominated for best actress too. I don't know if she won or not. Um, so let me move down to my next one. I tried to come up with stuff that no one would ever think of until you hear it out loud. You're like, oh yeah. So my next one, since it features a real group, I had to throw them in there. House Party with Kid and Play.
Kid
The
and
house
Play.
party. The house
That
party.
hair, man, that hair, the big
Man,
flat top.
Man, if you go that to me, that's a classic movie, man. Those guys trying to get a party started and get everything in Play's house and so they can meet the girls and go out. I guess this end of school year with the bang and everything, but the freestyle and everything is so dated, man. It's so 80s. And
It was.
Martin Lawrence and their just it's funny because in the Kid and Play universe, Martin Lawrence was a nerd and a geek and not popular at all, but turned out to be the most successful one out of all of them in real life. So that was something that was
What
kind
was
of
the
funny.
one where the same Kid and Play and the other guy, they play like where Kid and Play is like the nerd genius and like he takes the other guy to.
Class Act.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yo, Demetrius, I thought you were gonna play with my frog." You know, the big Debo-looking guy with they were playing with the frogs in the class. Man, that movie was hilarious. And then they got the wax museum. But anyway, we're branching off to something else. Another
Yeah.
time, another time.
We'll do the top 10 Kid and Play best of Kid and Play movies minus about 7 or 6 or something, so like that.
I actually saw that movie in the theaters. I remember my mother actually took me to go see that.
Which one, Class Act or
Class
House Party?
Act. Me and my
Oh,
friend, we were little too, and it was like I remember my mother kind of just being like, "What the hell did I bring my kids to see?" I mean, it really wasn't that over the top, but they had a lot of like sexual innuendo kind of stuff too, and
the girl from
man, she had some
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She was in there.
well grown,
Mm.
well grown. Yes, yes. All right. So what number were you at?
1, 2, 3, 4. That's I guess I'm at my number 5 or
5 or
6,
4?
something like. Hey, I don't. I'm just running down. I don't know what number we're on. I know I have 10, but we're off because we have matching
Yeah.
numbers.
So we're skipping and
Yeah.
jumping
Yeah.
around.
So just jumping down. So yeah, just keep it running. What's your next one?
All right. So the next one, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This was one of um, this guy's first movies. Ah, damn it. Give me a second here. So this movie was about. I know you guys who listen to punk rock music have heard of Sid Vicious.
Hmm.
Um, and it's called Sid and Nancy. And so have you ever heard the band the Sex Pistols?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So they had a guy, and apparently in real life, who was a big fan and used to come up there and jam with them during shows. And he ended up in real life becoming kind of like the poster child for the punk rock image. You know, the kind of spiked out hair and the torn clothes and the leather jackets and the dog chains with the locks on them. And he was a junkie, but I think more than anything, from what I've seen about him in real life, that it was more of an image thing that they wanted him around for. But I mean, apparently he could play bass guitar, so they kind of kept around. But anyway, in real life, he murdered or was involved in or in the area at the same time that his girlfriend was murdered.
Hmm.
And this movie kind of, and it's great, man. It kind of follows their twisted little journey here, and I'm trying to get a name here for you. Sorry guys, for the purists who are gonna want to cut my head off for this here, but I'm drawing a blank on some names here. All right, so let's see here. But anyway, Sid and Nancy, and honestly, he played, and you know this guy's name. He played Commissioner Gordon in the Batman movies. I don't know why the hell I'm drawing a blank in his name.
Oh, from the Sixth Sense and
No, the new Batman movies. He was Commissioner Gordon.
from wait, you mean from Nolan's Batman or
Yes,
from
yeah.
the guy he was the bad guy in the Sixth Sense and I mean the Fifth Element. I'm sorry.
Yes. Okay.
I'm saying the Sixth Sense. I mean the Fifth Element. Oh, yeah. Oh, now I
Gary
got it.
Oldman. His name's Gary
Gary.
Oldman.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, guys. I know you guys are gonna crucify for this. I'm so sorry. So and yeah, he does a performance of a lifetime in this movie. He complete and it's weird too when you see Gary Oldman in movies like like Batman. He's such a kind of a nerdy, awkward to me because I grew up watching this guy in movies like True Romance, Sid and Nancy, The Fifth Element, The Professional, where he pretty much universally plays a crazy individual. Like he's just so over the top, obnoxious, crazy, psychotic. And then to see him as Commissioner Gordon, he almost looked like Ned Flanders, his little mustache and his glasses. I had a hard time at first taking it seriously because I was like, oh man, they've nerded him up.
Yeah,
But
he's like a chameleon. He's almost
he's a
like Johnny Depp.
wild man. I love that scene in The Professional where he takes that pill and he kind of leans his head back. Yeah, and you just see that twist on his face, and man, he's got it. But anyway, different topic of different action movies. So Sid and Nancy for number 4.
All right, and then my next one is starring the '80s. I'm still in the '80s with rap groups. The Fat Boys, Disorderlies. I don't know if you've ever
Oh,
seen that comedy.
yeah, that was with those 3 fat guys, and they go to
Yeah.
the rich guy. Man, I haven't.
Yeah, I haven't
Oh,
seen that
dude.
movie in years, but that if you guys want to watch a funny movie, The Fat Boys, and there were three rappers, semi-successful rappers, but this was before people in the music industry were getting the deals that they're getting nowadays. So a lot of rappers from back then are like they're probably accountants and tax people nowadays, but these guys, man, they for non actor background people to dive into a movie for the first time, these guys did a pretty good job, especially a pretty good job of making me laugh. I don't know about the rest of the world, but when I saw this movie for the first time, and these guys were hilarious, man. And I was so surprised they didn't make more movies. They were pretty funny.
Didn't they take like the old rich guy to like the
Saying that,
strip club?
say that again.
Didn't they take the old rich guy to like a strip club and
Yeah, yeah, they were orderlies and they were taking care of a rich and yeah, they took him to a strip club and all kinds of antics, but it was pretty good. But yeah, I'm surprised you've seen that one. That was
yeah, man.
right.
I had completely forgotten about it until as soon as you said Disorderlies, it fired off some synapses in my brain. And I'm like, I know that movie, and I have this vision of these three fat guys taking care of a rich guy, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that movie. It's been a while.
Right. What's next? What do we got?
All right, so number 3, many would argue that this is this gentleman's finest movie. I would say certainly one of the better movies to display that this guy has phenomenal. If you give him the right role, he just falls right into it. It makes it completely believable. And then we get movies like Batman Forever and terrible. So we're going to go to my boy Val Kilmer with The Doors. I don't know if you've ever seen it. I think it's an Oliver Stone movie. Are you familiar with The Doors, Chris?
Yeah, I am. And let me ask you something because I'm getting some kind of message on my end about a disconnect. But are you getting me clear or?
Yeah, I got you.
I hope we're still broadcasting. Let's keep it going and I'll just check it later. But yeah, you said the Doors.
The Doors with Val Kilmer. He just completely embodies this guy. I mean, it's incredible. Like, and I didn't even know really. I mean, I'd heard about the Doors because I know my parents used to listen to them when they were younger. I didn't know much of anything about the Doors until I watched this movie, and then I knew a lot more. But then it kind of made me want to. And I saw it a couple times in my lifetime, and I didn't. The first time I saw it, I think I was too young to really appreciate it. It was just. I think maybe I thought it was kind of boring. But then when I got older and went to Walmart, and, they got those budget bins where they got like the $3-4 DVDs, and I remember catching my eye saying Oliver Stone because I was kind of on an Oliver Stone binge at the time, and I was like, ooh, I don't remember that this was an Oliver Stone movie. I got to give this another viewing and give it a shot when I was a little older, and I watched it, and I really appreciated it. And it's a long movie. But, man, again, Val Kilmer sang, as far as I know, he sang the songs. So
I have to check it out. Yeah, because I don't think I've seen it, but I'll definitely check it out. Kind of reminds me, you're picking movies where you're surprised that the actors really sing, and that reminds me of that movie that Gwyneth Paltrow did. That I don't have it on my list, but it just hit my head right now. I forgot the name of the movie. It was like I don't know if it was.
country singer or something?
Huey Lewis was in it with her, and they were singing together, and they sung that old song "Cruising." I don't. They play it on the radio every now and then. Uh this old 70s song called Cruising. I forgot who it was by, but I know Huey Lewis and the actress Gwyneth Paltrow. And Gwyneth Paltrow's singing was so good, they tried to convince her to actually cut an album, but she was like, no, I'm an actress. I have no interest in singing at all. But I mean, Hollywood and the music industry, they were coming at her hard because they knew because of her look, they
Yeah,
could
it's her
market her
status.
and whatnot. And they still play this song on the on in Houston. It's soft rock station. It's Sunny 99.1. But yeah, 0.1, and then every now and then you hear cruise with me, baby. I mean, look up Gwyneth Paltrow cruising. You'll be surprised how well, and this is really her singing. I mean, they got her into the studio. They got her to do the soundtrack. They tried to get her a record deal. She said nope. And
she may not have enjoyed her experiences.
She did not. She did not. She did
again.
She only did it because of what it was necessary for the movie. But she said she has no interest in getting into the music business. But after that, but here's one that I'm throwing a curveball. I saw this movie when I was a little kid. I think my aunt got free tickets to see this movie. It was not a movie that I would have ever gone to in a million years. I'm still in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles phase. And I'm sitting there watching. I think this was the sequel, and then later I saw the original, Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh man, I forgot about that movie. I can't even remember. That guy did a bunch of movies, and I still don't know his name.
I should have took the time to look up some names. I'll probably throw it into the comments and whatnot later. But I remember seeing Eddie and the Cruisers. The one where he disappeared for a little while, and then some guy found him and convinced him to come back and do music again. And I forgot what tragedy happened that made him quit, music, and he disappeared. And I remember one of the members of his old band, one of the Cruisers, he heard him playing in a bar. He was just got on stage and started going at it. He said, "You might be able to change a man's name, but you can't change the way a man plays," or something like one of those old wise lines and whatnot. You gotta be able to hide a man's name, but you can't hide the way he plays guitar, or something like that. That old rock wisdom that was heavily drenched in that movie. But Eddie, I remember how the movie made me feel. I mean, you were rooting for him. It was like an 8 Mile of the '80s, man. It was a movie that you
the underdog.
You really rooted for, man. It was like when they got back on that stage and he got that Fonzie T-shirt on. They rolled up those sleeves real hard and whatnot, and he started singing. I was like, damn, these guys are good. I don't know if it was a real band. I don't know if it was a made up band. I still to this day do not know. But I remember Eddie and the Cruisers, man. That movie. I still to this day. I don't remember much about it, but it impacted me enough to where I could remember to put it on this list, and upset Sean for not thinking of it.
Yeah. I honestly had not erased that, but it was stored deep down in the cellars. Like I had completely forgotten that movie existed. Not to say it was a bad movie. I hadn't seen it in forever. So yeah, I remember liking it though.
Chris Fagan taking you way back.
Throwbacks from way back. All right, so my number 2 was, as a young punk, something that was at least for me, one of those movies that you kind of like kids, you'd heard about. Everybody talks about it like this being this big, epic, crazy movie, and you were like, yeah, I don't know if that movie really exists. Well, this one, just like kids, did exist, and I gotta be honest with you, this is probably one of the strangest movies you'll ever watch, but in the right, like even if you just have a couple drinks and you sit down and watch this movie from beginning to end, even if you didn't like the band before you watched this movie, you will at least go through a slight phase of, I got to listen to this guy's music. This is incredible. So I'm going to give you, since this is down to my last two, I'll give you three guesses. This is a real band. Real band. Three guesses to a very trippy movie about a band that was popular in, well, even now, but was big in the 70s, 80s, and the 90s. And now is kind of like reached legend status, but doesn't, I don't think they play together anymore.
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
No.
Because I thought of
They're British. They're British.
Oh man.
Or one of the guys is British. Very psychedelic stuff.
I'm never gonna come up with it, man.
All right,
Never.
so I won't leave us waiting. So I picked Pink Floyd's The Wall.
I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
A lot of people haven't seen this movie. So basically, without going into too many details, this movie is basically a very elaborate, artsy-fartsy version of watching a guy lose his sanity. That's basically what the movie's about. The movie's about a rock musician by the name of Pink, and I remember thinking when I saw this, because the second or third time I saw it, Pink, the woman musician, was out. But anyway, this guy's name is Pink, and he's in a band. I think he's the singer in the band, but he is strung out on drugs. He's had too many shows, people bugging him, and literally his mind is starting to collapse. And we follow Pink's journey inside his head as he mentally breaks down. And it's a combination of live stuff, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit on heroin and LSD. That's what it's like, because it's live and it's twisted, sick animation stuff. So guys, if you haven't checked it out, Pink Floyd's The Wall. And the soundtrack, I love that album. It's just called Pink Floyd The Wall.
I think they're going to work on a sequel where the new Pink is going to be in that, and it's going to be her. And
can't do it. I ain't gonna do it.
Well, all right. Let's see. What's my next one? You know what? This is another cheat on my list. But the girl in the movie was in a band, so I'm going to throw it on there. Howard the Duck I put on my list because at the end he joined the band.
The Duck.
Yeah.
Leah, what's her name? Leah.
Wasn't that the same girl who played April O'Neil? Or not? Whatever. No. What other movies was she in?
Not much of. Oh, she was in Back to the Future, I think.
Yes, that's what she was. Okay, yeah. She was in Howard the Duck. She was in one of the weirdest movies
they had
ever
some
made.
Weird erotic scenes where he's just watching her climb into the bed doggy style, and he's just like, he's like, "Come on, Howie," they get in the bed, and you're just like, "Is he gonna get to bang that chick?"
Yeah. And then when they got interrupted by what's his name, the nerd of the movie, he's like, Howard!
Yeah, it's Tim Robbins.
Yeah, exactly. Like wacka 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 wacka.
He's trying to speak in duck.
Yeah, exactly. And but at the end of the movie, they Howard joined the band, and it has some music in there. I heard that movie went over budget big time, and they were trying to make some kind of they was trying to make something happen with that movie, but I liked it. I was one of the kids who liked Howard the Duck, but not knowing the real history of Howard the Duck, that it was a total departure of what the real Howard the Duck was about. But hey, it got me, even though
what
it was
the real one supposed to be
well,
about?
The Howard the Duck, like from what I heard, Howard the Duck was a real very. You thought that he was crude on the movie, but no, I mean like cursing and like real graphic, and like he would. And talk about like real things. Now it wasn't about a guy from another planet trying to get back to his home world, but it was I don't know where he was from. He probably was from another planet, but I don't know much about the Howard the Duck comic book. But according to like real comic book fans and Howard the Duck fans, the Howard the Duck from the cutscene on Guardians of the Galaxy was more close to what Especially, I mean, look wise, because Howard the Duck. You look at Howard the Duck, he has a top hat on. He's very like tall, like not tall, but like stringy, like very thin. And Howard the Duck from the movie, of course, because they had to put a little guy into a
Short and
costume.
squatty.
He was kind of squatty, kind of like stocky, and whatnot. So, um,
He was a master of quack fu.
yeah, exactly, and all that, all those one-liners and stuff like that wasn't in the comic book and things like that. But the oh, if you're
Yeah.
checking out the background, you're right here. You see you'll see the prequel to the Batman versus Superman, scene where all the buildings are coming down. But anyway, I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble by playing. Well, it's cutting from you to me, so you're not really seeing the whole movie. But yeah, but like I said, I was throwing Howard the Duck in there because it had some music in there, so I guess it counted. I liked it. Next.
I like the Howard the Duck. I like the Howard the Duck. So my number one is, and it's actually a 3-part. And these were actually released at 3 different times. And this is actually a real band. This is actually my boys. My boys. These guys were badass. If I had to pick one band, this would be my number one band. And I grew up as a kid in the 80s and the 90s listening to this guy. And he's a lot of people will say when they grew up in this time that Kirk Hammett made them want to pick up a guitar. And don't get me wrong, I loved Metallica and Kirk Hammett. But this guy, one of the guys in the band, he was very different. And he stood out like he was just the diamond in the rough. And he was just like he embodied badass cool. This guy was a monster on the guitar, and his name was Dimebag Darrell. I'm not sure if you follow heavy music, Chris, or not, but I don't know if you've ever heard that name before, Dimebag Darrell.
No, I haven't.
So we come to, and this is a 3-part video collection from the home videos from the band Pantera, called 3 Vulgar Videos from Hell. And it's basically these guys, if you watch these videos, you will notice, you'll be like, man, these are like the Jackass videos. And these were made before the Jackass videos. And I think that some of the Jackass guys took some of these antics that they saw in these videos. It's basically just your little view into the world of these rock star guys and all the crazy crap that they do backstage, on stage. And it's nuts, man. It's absolutely nuts. And you're kind of transported, especially if you watch them back to back to back. You really feel like you're kind of stepping in there and just getting to be a little part of this for a while, and it's a really cool feeling, man. And even if you don't appreciate the music, I would definitely check out the videos just to see the zany, wild crap that these guys do. Pantera, 3 Vulgar Videos from Hell. And I think the videos individually were titled The Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Video, and Watch It Go. But they come in a collection called the 3 Vulgar Videos from Hell.
Okay.
Pantera.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I've never heard of any of that, but yeah, definitely that sounds interesting. I'll check it out. What else we got? I know my list is probably it's got a few extra.
By the way, guys, don't mean to cut you off. See this black case behind me and this ribbon here? This is actually, for those of you who play guitar, this is a Dean Razorback Dimebag signature model back in here. One of these videos, I'll have to pop it out and let you take a look at it. That's from Pantera right there. Back to you, Chris.
Little trivia there.
Little trivia there.
Well, Tom, I'm here. No, but my next one, I had Bill and Ted on my list, so since we already talked about that, I'm gonna throw it off. I got 2 left that I haven't talked about, and I'll rapid fire through them because one of them is another cheat. The new Max Payne that came out because the blind guy with the guitar just ripping through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I had to give him a shout out. That guy was awesome. But officially, yeah, that guy. I mean, that through the whole movie, man, that dude was just
the flame throwing guitar dude, on a cable.
That guy deserves to be on this list, man. He was a one-man band. That dude was tearing it up. And then I have Terrence Howard's Hustle and Flow. Yeah, saw it out here for a pimp. I can sympathize, man. So that was like loosely based on my life. Is
that guy a Cajun? Is that what Terrence Howard is? Creole or something? He's got a very unique look to him.
He's
Like
I know he's American. I don't know if he's probably maybe Creole. I
like
don't know
he's
the
got
real
green
background.
eyes, if I remember correctly. Doesn't he? Doesn't Terrence have like bright green eyes? I mean, that's
Yeah, I
yeah,
think so. I think so. I haven't
yeah.
stared at his face that much,
Oh, you've been gazing into his eyes.
but yeah, he had me at that on Hustle and Flow. That was a pretty hot movie right there with a lot of good themes and a lot of good very wholesome for the family. Very had an uplifting message that if you pimp hard enough, you can make it. So that movie there to me was awesome.
I don't think I ever even saw that, but I know of it. I know
Yeah,
of it. I always
yeah.
thought he should have been come back in Iron Man, though. I remember that.
Yeah, I know. But him and
I
Marvel,
love you,
they
Don
couldn't.
Cheadle, but shit, they should have
But
kept.
yeah, I feel like what's his name just fit the role. It's just height wise. He fit the role better. But Hustle and Flow got an Oscar actually
Oh, did
for
it?
that
What they
soundtrack.
nominated for? Oh, for the soundtrack.
For the soundtrack 3 6 Mafia wrote that soundtrack and got an Oscar. So you got to see the 3 6 Mafia go on stage and win an Oscar. It was awesome. but uh but yeah, that movie was pretty good, man. If you haven't checked it out, it's a pretty good movie. The guy from the real skinny guy from Road Trip. Remember the guy from Road Trip, the real skinny one, the nerdy one was like
Yeah,
coming through the door.
yeah.
What do you guys want? He was in that
DJ
movie as the
Qualls.
yeah, he was in that movie as their producer.
What?
Every every man has the right to contribute a verse. A lot of a lot of one-liners in that movie too, man. But yeah, he was a music producer. He's in the background with Terrence Howard rapping and that dude is just making beats. He's like trying hard to convince us that he's a hip hop producer, but it was all around real solid movie, man. If you haven't
Did
seen
you
it, I check it out. You'll be entertained by it.
did you ever hear why he's so skinny?
I think he's a cancer survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was wondering why is he so skinny like that? And then I heard the same thing that he actually beat death or
yeah,
cheated death.
yeah,
So
yeah.
glad he's doing okay. I think he's still doing okay now.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's still out there. He's not working as much as he used to, but he's still out there. He's still
He's
doing.
in Z Nation. I don't know if you watch that show Z Nation.
I haven't. I caught a little bit of it when I was on a vacation one time with the wife, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It was like a kind of a little marathon. Maybe it was like the first. I don't know what I caught, but it was.
It's funny because he plays a guy who's like in the Arctic in a military base, and he's the only one in the base. Like,
I got to check it out because it's on Netflix. I'm gonna check that
yeah,
out.
that's where I saw it. I watched the first episode, and then I went to work, and I came back, and then I watched every single one.
How many seasons is it already? Is it on?
Just one season, and they're supposed to be coming out with season 2 in September. Like it started slow, like it wasn't real popular, and then I think as soon as it hit Netflix, people just watched the crap out of it. So it's coming back.
I'm gonna check it out. Okay, maybe I'll just turn it on right now and let's do it now, right after I finish watching The Man of Steel.
I
But
thought it's like a snowball, man. It gets better
it
and
just
better and better and better.
no, yeah. Okay, I'll check it out. Since you recommended, I'm gonna. Well, we've gotten off a track on this one. This one, this was a hard one to do. I'm not the. I love music, but I'm not a music buff. I'm more of a movie guy, so it was kind of hard to do this one. So we're gonna have to come up with a game plan for the next one, kind of make up for. We got off track on this one because we tried to go in more into the movies more than we did the the actual music. But hey, we did it. All right. So tomorrow or maybe the next day, I don't know if we're gonna take tomorrow off, but I can do this every day. We haven't come up with an idea yet, but whatever we come up with, I hope you guys are out there watching and enjoyed what you've seen here. And if you like what you see, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Spread the word. Let them know, man. We're trying to get the word out, man. This is the new movement. This is the revolution. Talking through the movies. I'm telling you, man. Usually, because you don't want me to be there actually in real life at the movie theaters talking through it. So I'll keep it quiet there, and we'll just do it all here. So what do you think, John?
I think you're absolutely right, man. This train's left station. Let's keep it rolling down the tracks. Keep going to the movies. Please subscribe and leave us some comments, for God's sakes. Let us know what you're thinking. We need some external stimuli. Tell us what's going on, man. Give us some ideas.
All of our critics, I mean, whether it's positive or negative, man, yeah, I appreciate it all because you make me better. And I mean that literally. I just got a comment. It's posted on one of the videos. It's on the I'll tell you, it's on the Spectrum video that I did. I did a reaction to the Spectrum trailer for 007, and I said something about, is Batista going to be the weak link in this movie? And I misspelled week. I put like days of the week is what I put. And some guy was like, well, loser, it looks like you need some spell check because you put W-E-E-K and it's supposed to be W-E-A-K. Send. And like it was right to my eyes, straight to the feelings. But I corrected that bad boy, and thanks a lot. Keep watching. All right.
Party on, Wayne.
Party on, Sean. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Peace.